Indian Navy's largest airbase, INS Hansa. Commissioned in 1961 at Dabolim, it is home to the Navy's premier air squadrons. INAS 310 Cobras with Dornier 228 aircraft. INAS 315 Winged Stallions with the long-range maritime patrol aircraft IL-38SD. INAS 339 Falcons with the airborne early warning Kamov 31 helicopter. INAS 303 Black Panthers and INAS 300 White Tigers with the supersonic carrier-borne MiG-28K fighters. And INAS 323 Harriers with the ALH Mk3 helicopters. "29-year-old Lieutenant Commander Mamta is an air operations officer at INAS 310. The squadron operates short-range maritime reconnaissance aircraft Dornier 228, which was inducted in the Navy in 1991. It is also the most decorated squadron with 1 Mahavir Chakra, 7 Veer Chakras, 1 Yudh Seva medal, among others.
This was your second posting.
Yes.
And you moved here at the Naval Air Base INS Hansa in 2021.
Yes.
Before that, where were you?
So I did my initial training after I joined Indian Naval Academy. I did my initial training. After that, I was posted to Naval Air Operations Officer, where I did my initial training on Dornier 228 itself. Then I opted for this aircraft. Then I got posted to INS Hansa. And then after that, I was transferred to INS 314. And then I was again transferred back here to Hansa in 2021.
And what was the experience like when you first started as the operations officer?
It was a very exciting thing, ma'am, because
Which year was that?
It was in year 2016. I finished my training in 2017 and got posted in Hansa in 2017. And so the experience has been extremely exhilarating. It's not the same thing again and again. It's a very dynamic situation because you don't know what kind of ships, submarines you're going to encounter overseas. So that is what I love the most about my job, that every day is not the same. It is very different. It is very exciting.
So, Mamta, you work as Naval Air Operations Officer.
Yes, ma'am.
How is that different from operations officer in say, an Indian Air Force or an Indian Army?
Yes, ma'am. So as a Naval Air Operations Officer, my primary role is to operate the sensors on board our maritime patrol aircraft. I am a Dornier observer or a Naval Air Operations Officer. So as a Dornier Air Naval Operations Officer, my role is to operate the maritime surveillance radar on board and the ESM system on board and the forward-looking infrared. So we act as the eyes and ears of the fleet. We fly over the sea and then we do our missions. We also do search and rescue operations.
So you're part of the crew?
Yes, ma'am, I'm definitely a part of the crew. So there are 2 pilots, and in the Dornier aircraft, it can fly with 1 or 2 observers depending on the kind of mission that we are going for. So I can be a tactical operator, which operates the radar, or the ESM operator, which is the sensor operator.
Over the years, INS Hansa has represented a crucial segment of Navy's combat power. Aircraft from Hansa augment the security of the entire western seaboard, including the offshore assets. They also carry out extensive surveillance. It's just another day at work for Lieutenant Commander Pavan Yadav.
Check towing arm connected.
This 27-year-old air operations officer from Haryana was commissioned in 2016.
Brakesman man the aircraft.
His journey in the forces began with the INA in 2012.
INAS 339. What is the significance of that number?
Ma'am, these numbers are allocated on the basis of the role of the squadron. And it is the only squadron of Indian Navy which is training cum operations squadron for Kamov 31 helicopters. Ma'am.
So when you say it's a state-of-the-art, one-of-its-kind aircraft, and all of you who operate this are called Falcons.
Yes, ma'am.
And why was that title given to you?
Falcons, just like a falcon flying above the sky or sea, keeps an eye what is happening. So that is the role we do. We keep an eye. So we are also known as falcons, eyes in the sky. So that is why we are known as falcons or eyes in the sky.
And you come from Haryana. Your journey begins from INA in 2012. 10 saal ho gaya. How has it been?
Ma'am, I joined INA in 2012, and then after doing 4 years of ab initio training, I got commissioned in 2016. After that, we undergo a basic post completion training, and then during that period, I did my watchkeeping and other. And then I did my first appointment as executive officer INS Astadhani, which is a ship. And then I opted for aviation, where after my ab initio aviation training, I came into commerce, completed my conversion, and I'm doing a tenure as staff NAO in 339.
And again, as you said, how many hours have you flown, if I may ask you that?
More than 150 hours on this aircraft.
And you come from Haryana. Does your family visit you often?
Yes, ma'am. My family, my father is also in armed forces. He's currently serving in Indian Air Force and posted at Air Force Station Hasimara, West Bengal. So I'm totally into aviation from that age only. When I've stayed with my parents only. So every annual day or this Air Force used to come. They used to do air shows. So that motivated me to come to aviation.
Spread over 1,500 acres, INS Hansa is a town within a town. One of the busiest military air bases in India, it has also contributed in search and rescue operations, flood relief activities. In 2020, the station flew numerous flights under the Vande Bharat mission during the global COVID lockdown. Lieutenant Commander Ajay Tomar is a naval fighter pilot. He is part of the fighter squadron White Tigers. A resident of Meerut in Uttar Pradesh, Tomar has clocked 900 hours of flying. He flies the MiG-29K.
The Indian Navy has 2 fighter squadrons. White Tigers is one of them. And Lieutenant Commander Tomar is a White Tiger. The other one is a Black Panther.
Yes, ma'am.
So what is the difference between a White Tiger and a Black Panther? And why is it called White Tigers?
So, ma'am, like you said, they are just 2 fighter squadrons. So we are kind of a cat family. We call ourselves a cat family. So the Panthers, the Tigers. And the White Tiger is basically a rare breed. That's why, and this squadron has been here since like 62s. So we are a rare breed. We call ourselves a rare breed. That's why the White Tigers.
And which is the aircraft that you fly? You said that you fly a MiG-29K. How is this MiG different from the Indian Air Force MiG?
So, ma'am, this MiG, the 29K, is designed to operate from a carrier. So, the structure-wise, it has been hardened. The landing gear is much harder or much strengthened from what Air Force flies. We have a tail hook so that we can like stop on a carrier. And apart from that, our wings, if you see, they are folded. So these are the 3 main features what differentiates us from the Air Force version. And it is much powerful machine than what the Air Force has.
If you wanted to be a fighter pilot, why did you opt for Indian Navy to be a fighter pilot?
Like, if you ask any Air Force guy this question, like, do you want to go to the Navy? He'll say yes. Because the only difference is we get to land on a carrier and come down from a speed of about 120, 140 knots to 0 in just like 2 seconds. So I'm sure, like, if you ask any Air Force pilot, he'll say the same. He wants to come to the Navy.
And how has your experience been so far?
Mine has been amazing, ma'am. I've done 10 landings on a carrier. So that was the best part about being a naval fighter pilot. And I look forward to more, and it'll keep coming on as I progress through my career.
So the Hawks and the MiGs.
Yes, ma'am.
What's the difference? And since you are a tiger yourself, would you prefer a MiG over a Hawk?
I would always prefer a MiG, always. So Hawk is like a stepping stone for us. So we as a child, we initially learn to sit, then we learn to crawl, then we learn to walk, and then we run. So Hawk comes in the middle. So this is where we run. Hawk is something where we start crawling and where we start walking. So it's a good training platform. It's a very good machine, I would say, and it teaches us so that we are comfortable on this aircraft.
After MiG, what next for you?
This is the platform in the Indian Navy right now. So this is the, like every fighter pilot in the Navy wants to come here. I can't imagine what after MiGs, because I want to stay here and I want to be a part of this family till I retire or till I retire from the Navy, ma'am.
29-year-old Commander Hansa Goa is one of the 3 women among 17 officers posted in this squadron. Commissioned in 1977, it has a long-range maritime reconnaissance platform. It also provides operation logistic support to ships deep in the ocean.
Lieutenant Commander Hansa Goa, how will you describe your unit and yourself?
We are the Wing Stallions. We are the oldest LRMR platform as on date in Indian Navy. We got commissioned in the year 1977, October 1st, and we are 45 years old. And we are the long-range maritime reconnaissance aircraft, and we are capable. We have got multi-aircrew cockpit, and this aircraft is capable of doing every mission possible which is there in Indian Navy as on date. We do reconnaissance missions, patrolling and reconnaissance, which is basically we go into the sea and look for any suspicious contacts, and if there are any, we report to the concerned agencies. That is what we do, ma'am.
Did you opt for this?
Yes, I did.
You started operating from INS Hansa, where we are, in 2015. It's been quite a journey then.
Yes.
7 years, which
Yes.
includes the period of pandemic as well.
Yes, and it includes my period of training as well. I joined Hansa, I came here in 2018, and now I've served here for 5 years.
And, is there a lot of bonhomie and bonding among the women officers here?
Yes, we have. We are very close to each other, as we are not huge in number, so we are quite close to each other.
What was your first flying experience like?
My first flying experience was in the Dorniers, where we got trained in Kochi Garuda, and it was it was a mixed feeling, and it was full of mixed emotions, that I was scared also, but equally excited to go for my first training sortie.
So after that, did you call up your parents to tell them about the story? Who did you call first?
I called up.
To share that excitement.
Yeah. I vividly remember that during my first mission sortie, after we landed safely, I called up my mother and told her about the entire experience, and she was equally scared, but she was equally excited for me, and she is really proud of me.